It's like Burke's theory.
I don't know who that is.
So Kenneth Burke, who came up with the dramatic theory, he is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, never graduated college, but ended up teaching at one. One of the things I love most about Kenneth Burke is that he strives to understand how people justify their behavior, and especially unsocially acceptable behavior. Burke has been the inspiration for many researchers and for papers and, even for me. I love how he applies his theory to how emotions are implicated in individuals. I also love the PENTAB theory. There's 5 steps. It's so organized. I love that. It's like, the points of entry for dramatic ethics. Super cool. Oh, you want me to list them off? Well, I can totally do that. So the 5 steps, that's 10. The 5 steps for the PENTAB theory, I made up an acronym, AASPM. So it's ACT, or your rule-breaking behavior. A, so agency, which is the tools that we use to accomplish that act. The S is scene, or the location of where the situation is. The P is for purpose, the explanation offered for doing the act. And then the 5th one is the motive, so it's justification for behavior.
Andy, wake up! I gotta teach you about hegemony. So when we talk about the oppression of people to keep people satisfied, we're not really talking about a paradoxical oxymoron, though that would make a sick rap album. We're talking about hegemony. And no, that's not about hedge money, that money that I used to keep my bling on. But this is hegemony, which Dan McLeod defines as a process by which a social order remains stable by generating consent to its parameters through the production of distribution of ideological texts that define social reality for the majority of people. And we need this in English, guys. English, please. So what it really means is that the content is created to uphold and maintain culture or the status quo. Joseph Zampetti said it more simply, calling it the dominant culture of political order. So when you're watching your favorite TV shows, you're reinforcing cultural norms. The reason we call this happy oppression is because hegemony, it relies on universal agreements. Celeste Condit wrote that it is the result of concordance rather than organizations and people with power like governments or institutions or media that are deliberately trying to make messages and trying to control culture. Hegemony is a result of the most heard voices or viewpoints. She said the hegemonic perspective assumes that there must be something universal or general in any successful claim in order for a wide variety of groups to identify with it. So it's easier to watch TV shows rather than that political debate because they're not doing that old man thing and it doesn't show, the boring stuff. Your TV shows have comedy in them. So you are also learning about culture with your comedy. They make statements or representations about the culture that people generally agree with. So they perpetuate that current culture. You are oppressed into maintaining the current norm and you're fine with it. Now this doesn't mean you're a bad thing or that you need to change. Your culture is just as culture does. It just means that when something new comes and goes against your grain, you need to look at it and see how it provides new social commentary against your hegemonic norms.
Andy, we gotta study for your pop culture test.
No, I don't want to.
Come on.
No, I don't want to.
Come on.
Ugh, fine.
All right, here we go. First one, who developed ELM, or the elaboration likelihood model?
Easy. Tom Petty and John Calipari.
No, that's a singer and a basketball player.
Oh, right. Close enough.
It's Richard Petty and John Capascibo.
That was close enough.
All right, here we go. How does media persuade?
Well, the elaboration likelihood model assumes that consumers interpret persuasive messages by applying central and peripheral routes in a particular environment. And according to Petty and Priester, to what extent are media persuasion attempts effective or the success of media campaigns depends in part on A, whether the transmitted communications are effective in changing the attitudes of the recipients in the desired direction, and B, whether these modified attitudes in turn influence people's behaviors.
Okay, that was actually really great. So I guess we can move on to the next one. If you chose a mockumentary as a form of media to examine persuasion, how are they successful in doing so?
Mockumentaries conduct important and meaningful critique of society and the media by finding humor in how music, sound, and silence can be powerful means capable of affecting our emotions and our perception of reality. It actually manages to make them take them seriously.
Wow, that was really great. Okay, here's our last one. Here we go. Can media or TV shows make any organization look like the good guy and be persuasive?
Yes. Persuaders can blend social influence with entertainment, such as when a recurring television soap opera is used to convey information about a disease, prevention, or population control. So if TV can do it with soap operas, it can sure do it with a show about how local government can help people.
Yes!